Let's talk about just overall, right? Overall, this is a very solid SMU team. They're number 10 in the country. They're in the college football playoffs. What Rhett Lashlee has done for this team is nothing short of incredible, and they're exceeding all expectations fans could have had at the beginning of the season. However, Lashlee hasn't played a top 10 team yet in his 3 seasons as head coach at SMU. And Penn State isn't just top 10, but one of the very best teams in the country. SMU has to come to Beaver Stadium in December for a whiteout playoff game, the first in history. Yes, SMU might be a good football team, even a great football team, but they are facing their toughest test in program history in a couple of weeks. My message to SMU, congrats on making the playoffs, congrats on getting here, soak it all in, and use this as a learning experience for the future. Yes, the future is bright in Dallas, but this season ends for the Ponies on December 21st. My prediction, Penn State 42-14 for SMU, a blowout in the whiteout. Now, some people are really high on SMU. Again, I think this has been a really good year for them, right? Rhett Lashlee's doing a great job, but they haven't faced a team even close to as good as us yet. The closest game they've played to us is Clemson last week, and they were getting dominated in that one until they could make a late comeback, and then they weren't even able to get there. They played Pitt earlier in the year, and they scored 48 points, but, I don't think we can act like Pitt is a good team anymore. Same with Louisville. Their losses to BYU, which looked good initially, but looks worse and worse now. Listen, I think BYU's defense is the most similar, in terms of physicality and tackling and speed and aggressiveness. I think BYU is the best defense that SMU played against all season, and SMU scored 15 points against them. So then I say, in the whiteout, in the cold, at home, I think even giving SMU 14 points might be a little generous. If SMU scored 14 points against this, I think that'd be a win for them. And then for a Penn State offense that just put up 500 yards against Oregon last week, can SMU even dream of stopping it? Kotelnicki announced he's staying home today. The focus is going to be all in on this game and all in on just shredding their defense. It's a Penn State offense that is literally as talented as anyone else in the country. In the big games, they haven't quite scored enough points, but this offense is still looking really good. Drew Allar, still, while he is inconsistent, while he makes too many mistakes, and his interceptions are one of the big reasons why we lost that game. It was one of the first things James Franklin said in his post-game press conference. He still is making, 4 or 5 plays a game that are just insane, that I don't think there's another quarterback on the planet that can make those plays. And if he can just cut out a couple of those inconsistencies, and I think in games where Penn State has been leading, that's when Drew Allar's at his best. It's when we're losing and we need to make a comeback, that's when the mistakes have come out. It's when almost we're asking him to do too much, right? You can't ask him to do everything and then he makes a mistake and then blame him for it, right? You got to give him a chance. That starts with your defense. That starts with the other guys on the team. If you can get a lead early in that SMU game, man, it's going to be over. We almost rushed for 9 yards per rush against Oregon. That offensive line was dominating up front. The running backs were cooking. When Katron Allen is running efficiently, good luck beating this Penn State team. This is an SMU team that has not really played physical football all year. They've tried to outspeed everybody. You're not going to outspeed Penn State. You're not going to outspeed one of the top teams in the country. You're going to have to try and stop that run. And I say it every time. If you come into Big Ten country, you got to be able to stop the run. And if you can't do that, then the entire offense opens up. And if you sell out to stop the run, well, then you got that Drew Allar to Amari downfield and to Wallace downfield and to Tyler Warren downfield. There's so many reasons for why Penn State is just the better team, including that whiteout home advantage. I think this is the easiest pick of the first round. Penn State's going to dominate SMU.